Go for it. What's up, y'all? Welcome back. T3 is back in the house after a little bit of a break. About to have another one. So we are having fun out here already. We're excited. Herb's in the house. Shane Ratliff in the money spot. Ben Parker at the wing. I love it. I'm yours, Mr. U, man. We are so grateful to have you guys back with us. We're having fun today. This is going to be our last show for the year, so hope it doesn't sound weird, but we're going to let it all hang out. We're going to just have fun tonight. Let it go where it's going to go. No real script tonight. We're going to just have fun. But how you guys doing? You guys had a nice little extended break. Hope you don't have a turkey amnesia still going on. How you guys doing? You good? Everybody good over there?
Still good, man.
Surviving.
Making it through. Santa's cookies.
Oh
boy, here we go.
And I believe you had agreed to send out some of those cookies, and I don't see anything here. I'm a little upset already to start the show.
No, I mean the Amazon guy already left, and there was no cookies in hand. So I mean,
it's fine. No jealousy here at all. That's fine. It's fine.
It's interesting how people make promises on the air they don't keep.
Yeah.
But it's all good.
In the mail.
He's like, okay.
Here's yours right here.
Well, we got the whole East Coast lockdown over here. No West Coast action on this show right now, but it's all good though. We got it on lock, man. All right, so we got a lot to get into, and we're gonna have some fun just talking NFL. Now, since we missed a week or so, was there anything from the week that we missed that you guys feel worthy of talking about? If not, would you jump into last week's slate of games, what we saw? How you guys feeling? Take your time, baby. You got all night.
What was that? Oh, the Chargers and Chiefs. Their little escape, and the Bills and Rams. I think those are the two biggest, or maybe impactful and most fun from the weeks that we missed. But
yeah, you guys. Okay, now I know Shane may have a comment on this, but were you surprised by the Bills in the Lions game with that?
No, that's the. Were you talking about from the what was that last week? I was thinking 2 weeks ago. I guess.
Yeah. If you got it, let's go. 2 weeks ago.
It's funny how in a loss it helps your MVP candidacy, but Josh Allen was still amazing in that game, But you have to worry about the Bills' defense. Like you can't continue to just try and do shootouts every week if we're combining the last two. But did not see the Rams putting up 44 on them all of a sudden. That's one of those teams I can't figure out. Yeah, I mean I can't figure out their division. I can't figure out their team. And you're going to get one of those, like either them or Arizona, but then Seattle will come up and win a game. Like, I don't know what's going on over there, right? And the Rams are a team that you could see, first round, like you said, put up 40 or maybe put up 7. Mm-hmm. You just have no idea. That may be one of the scariest wild card games is whoever comes to that division, and particularly the Rams. Like, that's just – I clearly picked the Bills that week, so I was shocked at the outcome, but I never thought it would have been like that.
The defense has been up and down. I feel like it's been all year. It hasn't really been surprised. Von Miller's supposed to be a guy who's supposed to be kind of leading the charge.
Is he still playing? Oh, I was like,
yes, he is. But he has on his invisibility cloak, so you can't really see him that much. He is still playing. You can barely see him, but the defense hasn't been looking good, man. So that Rams number, not really shocked by that. I'm shocked that they
You're not shocked by 44 points by the Rams.
No, Puka Nacua and Cut when they're on the field together, they are awesome. And Kyron Williams, basically a three-headed monster. They give Stafford that. Watch when these guys are not injured and they play him. Stafford's numbers always skyrocket. No, I'm not shocked by that whatsoever. I'm shocked.
That so their other scores: 12 points, 21 points, 20 points, 28 points, 15 points, 26 points, 30. Like 44 is still shocking. I don't care what you
What-
say. 44 is still shocking. You can't be like, oh, 44. Yeah, I assumed that was coming.
No, I mean, I like Puka Nacua a lot. I wish I would have drafted him.
I understand that, but 44 is still shocking. You look at their high
that's a
of
game where
30.
I said I thought it was going to be tight, but there's no way I thought it was going to be 40 points for each side and then tight. I thought that was going to end up being like a 3-point game, but the big thing that sticks out for me,
good, man.
Talking about like when you talk about that turnaround and then the Bills versus Detroit, the thing that sticks out for me, again, another big scoring like Herb said, but I don't even know who's left to play defense for Detroit anymore. Like literally, if you started at any point for them on the defensive side of the ball, you're injured, and you've been injured for a couple of weeks now. Like it is crazy for them to still be competing at the level they are. And I mean, they got Josh Allen. There's no other way about it. Like he right now is playing at a level above all the other quarterbacks except for maybe Lamar Jackson, with being able to just score points when he wants to. And even when plays aren't working, he's just going to come up with something in the huddle, schoolyard it, and get another touchdown for the Bills.
Yeah. And there's two different ones in that, like, I don't know if we're talking about the Detroit part of it, but this is such a Detroit thing to have one of your best teams in your best seasons and everybody on your team get hurt and that be what derails your championship season. So I feel bad for Detroit, man. I don't know that you can continue to lose. And they're not just losing, like, hey, the guy's on kickoff coverage, like Hutchinson earlier in the year, that's a big loss. Montgomery, that's going to be a huge loss, and then several defensive players in between. I just feel bad for him.
So let me ask you about that because we talk about Detroit every year. They've been a lot better than previous years, obviously. So rightfully so, we're talking about them. And we talked about their coaching and some of the decisions that gets made, especially in late games or in late season games. How are you guys feeling right now, really briefly, about their chances to do what's predicted for them to actually win a Super Bowl? I don't mean just go to it, but to actually win it. How you guys think? I don't really feel great about it anymore. I thought it was always a possibility. I know the Shane, I think, picked them to win it all, but I don't feel good about it. The defensive part, yeah, but also the coaching, some of the decisions that gets made late in games, I'm concerned about it. But how you guys feel? You feel the same, a little bit lesser than before, or you're totally out on them? How you guys feeling?
I still feel pretty good about it, but not as good as I did 2 weeks ago, man. I mean, like you said, it's just those defensive injuries are devastating. Now, there's a chance they may get Hutchinson back as early as, say, the NFC title game. That's on the table right now. It's possible. But still, you got to make it. I mean, who's to say they don't lose the round before? I still give them maybe top 2 or 3 teams chances because there's not a team out there that doesn't have some kind of blemish or concern. But, man, 2 or 3 weeks ago, they were my favorite. I thought they had it in kind of lockdown, and now it's wide open.
Yeah. They're at a spot right now where they might not even win their own division, and that's already tough. You could possibly lose a first round bye that way. And all the injuries to defense, I was like, all right, this sucks. Well, the offense is going to have to win some shootouts. Losing Montgomery is really going to impact your, I love Gibbs, but I love him as the change of pace and the balance that those two had. I don't like him as now he's getting, like maybe 20, 25 carries. I don't like that position for him. So.
Now, I heard about Hutch, but then I think about Christian McCaffrey. That's what I think about. That's what comes to mind immediately. I watched him come back from injury. Like, okay, you expected him to come back and do what he did before. It doesn't always feel reasonable with these kind of injuries. So for him coming back, it's like you expect him to save the day. I don't know. That's a good expectation. But go ahead. Who was next? Yeah. If you rely on somebody who came back from that kind of injury to help you, you're barking up the wrong tree, quite literally.
I would say really injury too, though, to your point, and just to miss that much time, the first time you come back, you don't want it to be a high-pressure game. You don't want it to be like a snap count kind of game, third week of the season. You definitely don't want it to be the playoffs. So I just feel bad. I feel bad for Detroit.
Yeah. It seems like it's always something, It seems like it's always something. I didn't want to ignore the comments, but we're having fun talking about Detroit. Who we got in the box today? Big Roger in the house. Good evening, sir. Good to see you. Well, good to hear from you. West Coast Winds in the house. How you doing, Wayne? So nice to hear from you. We missed you. KJ's in the house. Good evening. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you. All our faithful folks out here today. We appreciate it so much. All right. So what else we got from 2 weeks ago? Anything else? Because honestly, that week was a blur. You got a freshman who actually played. That's how a week that was. I mean, I saw stuff, but I didn't see stuff. It was that kind of situation. So anything else from that week that was noteworthy that you guys want to get into? Anything eventful? If not, we can jump into last week and see where we are with that. Anything from last week?
You might be interested to know the Bills hadn't given up more than 28 points before the last 2 weeks. So saying that their defense has been awful all year is also not accurate either.
That's fine. I'm just sitting here waiting for it. I'm like, if Von Miller's going to be spearheading the defense and he's playing the way he is right now, I feel like anything can happen. So I'm just sitting here waiting for it to happen. So when I said I ain't surprised, I wasn't. I'm like, forget the number. I'm talking about the defense just having a lapse. Because we talked about it the past, was it 2 years or 3 years with the Bills? I don't remember which one. It was either 2 or 3 years. They were up and down almost every single game. The game they should have won, they lost. The game they should have lost, they won. It was that up and down. So I'm like, offensively things are better. They solidified the slot with Shakir. I mean, he's the number one guy, and he's doing that. You got guys like Johnson and Mac Hollins that is kind of just coming through and helping and doing a great job of it. But the defensive part, it's like it's always a lot of gaps and voids in there. So yeah, we'll see if they can pick it up going into the next couple of games. Can be really important, especially even though the Pats are not they're a divisional opponent, so they definitely want to win that. But it should be easier to handle, hopefully. But all right, so games from last week highlights. What jumped out? I know we had the Eagles and the Steelers, Packers and Seahawks. Of course, the Bills and Lions game was obviously one of those as well. What jumped out from last week that kind of hit you?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start that with the Denver Broncos. I mean, it's not a new story at this point, right? But here they are. They're really just kind of starting to win these games that they're supposed to win by pretty significant amounts now. I mean, they're just not the sweet story anymore. They're a legit team. Now, they're not going to romp through the AFC on the way to the Super Bowl or anything like that, but this is a legit playoff team now. And, myself and a lot of other people included at the start of the season just didn't see that happen. I said, hey, maybe Sean gets a little bit going here with Bo and maybe they have, maybe they have some great wins and that's it. No, this is a legit team here. And, nobody wants to play them, right? Now, again, they're still, the sixth best team in the AFC probably, but they're a legit playoff team. They did a good job in the second half against the Colts, and the Colts shot themselves in the foot as well during that game. But, it's been weeks now that we've seen Denver just really continue to improve on offense to go along with that good defense they've already had.
Yeah. And you're ahead of schedule now, but you also kind of justify the eating the whole Russell Wilson contract and getting this good this quick. And you're playing with house money. And we've seen last year, Green Bay catches fire at the end as a 7 seed and wins a game. So they're probably still a team you don't want to play in the playoffs. A rookie quarterback with nothing to lose in your first game, like you have no idea what's going to happen. You lose in the first round, you're fine. You win a game, I mean, that's great. So that's a good point. Yeah. Denver's in a great spot.
Yeah. And staying in that same division, man, and that I've kind of been following them since '84, man. But the Chargers, they let the Bucs come into their house in a home game, gave up 4 touchdowns to Baker Mayfield, 117 yards to Bucky Irvin, 159 yards and 2 touchdowns to Mike Evans, and they had almost no defense to speak of and no running game. We knew that when Dobbins went out, it would be a problem. But Gus Edwards has 23 yards. I don't think nobody even came close to that. I think he was the leader. He had 8 carries and 23 yards. So they don't have a run game, and the defense that was supposed to be one of the top defenses throughout the year has kind of fallen to, I don't know where they are. I can check the stats. I don't know where they are now, but they can't be in the top 5 now. So they came inside there and let the Bucs run all over them. And he's going to be a contender, at least second in the division behind the Chiefs, and it doesn't seem to be that way. They're back in third where they were before. And they have all these new additions and a new coaching staff. Disappointing to say the least.
Yeah. I'm surprised, like no points in the whole second half too. It's just, Tampa Bay scoring is maybe not always a shock just because Baker, when he gets hot, I mean, earlier this year when you had Evans and Godwin, they were, fringe MVP candidates. So I get that part of it. But to your point, yeah, like you just, and at home, you can't have a no-show like that. You can't get blown out like that. Like you said, with the fringe and with Denver kind of coming up behind you too as well. That's a game you got to get, really, or at least look competitive in.
Yeah, I think the other thing about that too is if that doesn't show you how much that Chargers defense has helped when that offense is running the way that Harbaugh wants it. When you don't have a run game and those guys end up out there three downs and back out there, and like Baker Mayfield was all over the place in that game. He's hot this year. It's continuing. He's really had a resurgence in Tampa Bay once they've given him the shot. But I think, like you said, without having Dobbins and being able to control the ball and eat some clock and give some time, they just got handled in every way. Like you said, if it was just the defensive backs, you'd say that, but Bucky Irvin just plowed through them, had no problem with what was going on. Tampa Bay looked like by far the better team, which I wouldn't have said in the very beginning when those two teams matched up. And I think that's where you have to watch out. That's another thing where, your best defensive player for the Chargers, is in your defensive backfield. And if he's got to cover three guys, you're in trouble. The pass rush with Bosa and Mack up front is not getting the same type of rush it needs. And, I mean, you mentioned Von Miller. That's the same thing I worry about the Bills in the playoffs. If you can't get a pass rush and you let some of these high-end quarterbacks with enough time, they're going to get touchdowns. And it's going to be hard for you. And that's the biggest worry for me. I think that's one of the other teams that showed up when you're talking about Philadelphia versus Pittsburgh. I wouldn't want to play Philly's defense right now coming into the back half of the year. Yeah. They're starting to pick it up. They play real well in the back, which helps you to get pressure because you can mix some things up. Running game for them has been strong. It seems as if Hurts and Brown are now going to hug each other after every touchdown from here on out. Who knows? But I think the Eagles now, especially like Kurt mentioned, if you're Detroit and you end up not getting your number one seed and not winning your division, you're now in trouble if you've got to travel.
Yeah. That's what I said. It looks bad for them. And how crazy is that division for Detroit be doing what they're doing and still be like within a stone's throw of like third in the division? Like this has got to be one of the crazier situations I think I've seen.
This is not. I have a lot of questions about this, but I want to ask you guys because of the expectation that came in with Coach Harbaugh and the new system and the new everything. As a matter of fact, they went and got two running backs from the same team. You know what his plan was and all this, like Machine mentioned about the emphasis on the run game. So far, do you think the experiment is a success or a failure based on what we've seen up to today?
Yeah, no, you're talking about the Chargers, right? With both with Harbaugh and the new running backs and everything. I like it, man. I had them going 9-8 and barely getting into the playoffs. So, you dial it back 4 weeks ago, they're lighting it up, doing even better than that. Well, even though they've fallen off, they're still sitting about where I wanted them to be here.
Yeah.
And Harbaugh doesn't even have his guys in there yet, right? I mean, he barely, dipped his toe in the water for personnel this offseason. It's going to take him another season or two to even get the people he really wants in there. So, no, I love it. I love what they're doing. I love the direction they're taking. The defense itself already just has a way better attitude and efficiency to it than it ever did under Staley, who was supposed to be the defensive guy, right? So I really, really like the way this Chargers team is handling itself, even though we've seen it fall off. And listen, I hate to blame injuries, but the Chargers have been inflicted with injuries just like everybody else. You got Will Dissly, the tight end, going down. We've already mentioned the running back. Quentin Johnston was in and out earlier in the year. And then Lad McConkey, who's their best receiver now by far, was also banged up with shoulder and knee injury. So that really starts to take a toll on a team that was already kind of borderline in terms of talent anyway. So me, I'm a huge, huge fan of what the Chargers are doing and what I think they'll be next year.
Yeah. And the fact that you say Lad McConkey is the best and he's a rookie just tells you a lot about the shift in personnel for that team. So I don't know what I expected from them, but I would agree that they're ahead of. I mean, they're still 8-6. You know, they're still at the 7th spot and 2 games up, I think, on the Colts. They're probably firmly in the playoffs. I think it's a success, and it can only get better for them from here as he gets more, better personnel in there. And you still got Herbert back there, quarterback. So at least you've got probably the most important position filled.
Well, before Shane answers the question, let me provide some perspective. Their best wide receivers were Keenan Allen, who I think played 11 games, the last 10 or 11 games the last time he was there, and Mike Williams, who got bounced around to 2 teams since he left. And he was easily a wide receiver 3, a wide receiver 4 on that team. Guys like Palmer and somebody else whose name I'm blanking out on were ahead of him in the depth chart. So they didn't have it going on at wide receiver. They need to do a lot of things to get that picked up. Lab McConkey has been doing great outside of the injuries, but they need to do a whole lot more. And I'm sure they will. But go ahead, Shane.
I mean, like
why
you
are
said,
you so?
the thing is like, what's that?
Why are you using the cloaking device?
The cloaking device. Tell you,
Why are you hiding your ID?
The thing for me for the Chargers really comes down to, like Ben said, I had them like 9-7. I thought they'd get in the playoffs, and that's a big rush from where they were before.
Yeah.
I think also, like Ben also mentioned, getting a chance to get some of his guys in there, change that back around a little bit. But I also think like he's looking right now and he sees Blake Corum sitting in the same locker room when they're not playing those games, and he'd love to have a back like that. I think Dobbins had a great game, but this is a guy that gets injured. Like that's the same reason why he didn't work out with the Ravens. It wasn't because he wasn't talented. It wasn't because he wasn't running well. He just gets hurt. And that's so when you put the offense on him, you don't really have somebody else that's a game breaker like Gus Edwards. Again, like you said, a couple of rushes, get you yards, but he's not that, release back. I think that's something they're going to be looking for in the draft. But if I'm a Chargers fan, I'm happy with the way everything's going. I don't have any problems on my team. I don't have people giving up. My quarterback isn't worried for his life every single day. I've got 2 young tackles.
He didn't say every single down. He said every single day, like something else is going on in this man's life.
I mean, last year, I think Herbert was thinking about going back to med school. Like, there's got to be easier ways for me to make this money was probably what he was thinking. Because he was just getting beat up. And then I think they've changed that around. I'm going to be a Harbaugh guy until he does something to make me change that. I think he does a great job. I think he maximizes the talent. Can he wear on people? It's shown that sometimes happens, but I think he wears more on the GM than he does on his players. I don't see a lot of players go against him.
I'm down with that.
And I mean, the one that he's against was Trent Baalke, and let's see how well that's going for the Jaguars. So,
and winning usually clears all.
Exactly.
The winning team.
I'm down with them. I ain't down with them khakis though. I'm sorry, I just can't do that part. But that's where I put them. That's why I draw the line. I don't even wear my clothes. But anyways, I got a lot of questions about the NFL, and I'm just kind of firing at you guys. Any other games stood out? You guys about what you got?
Yeah, I will say one of y'all mentioned the Eagles-Steelers game as well.
Yeah, it is.
That really should have been a close game, but I was looking for one of those teams maybe to show a little muscle, and the Eagles ultimately did that, and Vegas odds makers look at the Steelers right now, and they don't see a Super Bowl contender. They've got Pittsburgh back around maybe 8th or so with long shot odds, and they look at Philly and they see, second favorite basically right now at the moment, and that kind of sort of showed up in the game. And there are still questions about the Steelers offense, even though they've been putting out a lot of points the past 5 or 6 weeks. You still watch them, and that running game isn't explosive. And the passing game, when Pickens isn't in there, is also getting choked up a little bit. So, I hate to put too much on one game, right? But still, just looking at them over the past several weeks, you look at Pittsburgh, even though the record's great and Tomlin's amazing, they're just not quite there yet as a contender for me. And Philly kind of seemed to show that this past week.
Yep. Herb and Shane, they've discussed this many times in regards to the Steelers offense. Check this out now. They both of their defenses were skillful enough to nullify each other's best running attack. I think Najee had 14 yards and Saquon had 65 yards. So they took care of business on that end of things. Like you said, on the offensive side, that was a problem. I mean, Calvin Austin the third, who honestly, I watch the Steelers whenever they show him on TV here, which is pretty often. I don't know who that. I seen him in one game. He had 65 yards, and nobody else in the wide receiver room had more than 25 yards on the entire team. So you already know what's going to happen here. Like I said, Herb and Shane, they've talked about Pickens and the downfield threat that they need in him and others as well. And this game showed they don't have it. And Pickens is not there, they are really, really in trouble. You can't have the lead guy have 65 yards total. That ain't going to get it, baby. Yeah. You know, that's kind of what happened. That's what's happening right here. And it's like, it's bad because we even talked about, I think it was like about a month or so ago, we talked about how he don't like to block it and go down and feel some other stuff that, you know, Pickens does like doing. But what kind of leverage does he have now? He's out and they look really bad offensively. What that man gonna be hard to handle when it's time for a contract discussion.
Yeah. There's a reason why they were linked to every freaking wide receiver in the offseason and all the way up to the trade deadline. There's a big reason for that. And and whiffed on every single one. It wasn't to get rid of Pickens, but it was to have anybody on the other side. Because with Pickens, you get a lot of the downfield threat, but you also get I might get a personal foul and get kicked out the game on the next play too as well. So, you know, it's a mixed bag. You know, you have no idea what he get a personal foul for throwing a football at somebody on the sideline. Like, what are we doing? So you don't want that. You want the talent as your number one, but you don't want the attitude as your number one. So yeah, it's like you said, Shane and I have talked a lot about it. I love Pittsburgh for all the reasons that have been mentioned, but the offense I just don't feel like it's a Super Bowl caliber offense.
Mm-hmm. And please allow me to crystallize this point. I feel like we have to do this again. We got to finish talking about Mike Williams, formerly of the Chargers, formerly of the Jets. He was the wide receiver 3 or 4 in New York. They traded him to Pittsburgh, same team we're talking about, because Pittsburgh needed some wide receiver help. Where's this man on the depth chart right now? He's behind Van Jefferson and Calvin Austin III.
What did he do? Come and catch a game-winning touchdown, and then that was like the last time we ever heard from him. He was like, "I'm good for the year."
Got my one big boy touchdown, and then we're done.
Yeah. They're like, "Hey, you gonna get back out there?" He's like, "And ruin my average? I'm good."
Must have been a gambling thing. As soon as he caught that pass, he went right into witness protection, and we heard him since.
Yeah. He's like, He plays like I would play. Like, if I ever played football and the first pass I caught was a touchdown, you'd never see me again. And I'd be telling my kids 30 years from now, every pass I caught was a touchdown. Like, that's what I think of Mike Williams.
I feel like you want more. I don't think that's true. I think you want more.
I mean, that man collected a paycheck and as a game winner, he's good. I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. So I think on the tree, Herb, be like, oh, I like that. Do it again.
Okay, you're right. You're right. I'm just trying to explain why this is happening because it's weird.
Mike Williams is a unicorn. He doesn't want more. One touchdown every 3 years is good enough for him.
Oh. I think it's the Arthur Smith offensive coordinator problem. Like the same thing happened. Yeah. Well, you look at Tennessee. When he was with Tennessee, you have a strong run game. The thing for him was I need a wide receiver to open it up top. They go get A.J. Brown. Their offense has a really good year. He goes to Atlanta. He thinks he's going to do the same thing, and then he never gets the talented wide receivers and some of the young guys, Pitts, Drake London, involved. And they have a great run game, but they don't have anybody that breaks the game open over the top. Like Herb mentioned, the thing for Pickens is I just don't think they trust him. I don't think it's a level of talent. I think the worry is when we're going to need him, he's going to do something stupid, and then we lose him and we lose the game. And of all the things you have to give Mike Tomlin credit for, he does not play around when it comes to that. He does not care who you are. He's going to tell you, you need to be smarter than that. This game is bigger than you. It's about the team. But I don't think they have the talent offensively. That's the thing for me. Can they Can they gut it out? Can TJ Watt have a great defensive game? Can their defense keep them in games? Yes. But if my hope and prayer is that Wilson is going to have a 300-yard passing game and Najee gets a good 100 yards in the run, that I'm not sure that that's happening in any game, let alone when I'm going to need it. I think they're depleted weapon-wise. This has happened. They're one of those teams. They're a prime example of being great, but not great enough to where either you win or you drop down and you get draft picks. Pittsburgh has had to find people in the third round and then not be able to pay them once they get up. Look at all the wide receivers they've had over the years that they've all had to get rid of because they couldn't keep up for them. And I think that that's starting to hit them now. I think Pickens is a talent, but I just don't trust him going into the playoffs.
Yeah. That's actually a really good point. Sorry, Mr. Just I'll do this one real quick. That's actually a really good point about the draft and kind of where you are is kind of being mediocre because you've gone through what Kenny Pickett was the best you could get as far as drafting a quarterback, and now you got a platoon of Fields and Wilson. Like none of these are sustainable things for your future.
Yeah, this is what I don't know. I want to be an alarmist, man, but Tomlin has a nice historical record of winning seasons. It feels like this hourglass is going to run out at some point soon. You can't keep doing what's happening right now, relying on the defense because Watt gets hurt every year. It feels like for a handful of games. You can't rely on him in the defense to carry them all the time. Something else had to change on the offensive side to get some relief to the defense. And like Shane said, it seems depleted. Mm-hmm. I don't even know. I mean, Pickens is a number one on this team, but I'm like, if I put him someplace else, you guys can pick a team. Is he a number one there too? I question that in most cases. So if this is like the future, I'm like, wow, what are you going to do with this? You better bring somebody else in that knows what's going on. They got a good head on their shoulders. Somebody maybe off of free agency. You try and rely on the draft, and you're all going to learn from Pickens. That ain't going to be good.
Yeah, I'd be like, watch him and everything he does, do the opposite, and we'll be fine. That's exactly what I would tell somebody.
I mean, he's a lot like Antonio Brown for them. You know, when you're great, you're great, and when you're terrible, you're trouble. You know, you're trouble. And that's what I worry about Pickens. You know, can he get you a touchdown? Yes, but like Herb mentioned, is he going to get that touchdown and then on a next play he'll catch a 4-yard out and throw the ball at the mascot? Like he's going to do something stupid like that. We're like
mascot catching strays.
I've never seen this before.
Do you have a video clip that actually happened?
Not yet.
I mean, he'll do something like that. That's why, like I said, I mean, at least with Antonio Brown, you know that Burfitt hit him so hard that he forgot what planet he was on. So after that, where all the craziness happened with Antonio Brown, you could at least shake it off. But Pickens, and even you watch him sitting on the sidelines, you know, he's just kind of like, oh yeah, look at that, another fumble, you know, and it doesn't look like he cares that much about what's going on.
His interviews as well.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's other guys on that team that are going.
That's sad, man.
You take a team like San Francisco. You take a team like San Francisco. The injuries pile up, things start to go bad, and then you see guys that kept quiet about how miserable they were, and then they have an opportunity to play, and they go, "Nah, man, I'm good. I'm not gonna play." Like you've just guaranteed you're never gonna play in the NFL again,
basically.
And those are what happens, and that's why people worry about San Francisco, because before you could always just say it's the injuries, but now it's people just quitting on the team, and whether you get rid of one person, nothing happened before. I mean, now they're even talking about where, you know, maybe teams make a trade to get a head coach out of there because San Francisco thinks maybe it's time to make a move. You know, that last week, I think a lot of things changed.
Both of these franchises are cornerstone franchises in the league. You'd be blessed to be on one of these teams. This ain't no Raiders and Jaguars situation. If you want to be on the Steelers, where you going? You think it's a guarantee that she's going to pick you up for the Bills? Hopefully, Pickens doesn't think that, because that's not a guarantee. You might end up with the Jaguars or the Patriots. You don't know what are you talking about? This is a privilege to play in Pittsburgh. You can't appreciate that? Maybe you don't belong here. That's nonsense, man.
Pickens on the Jaguars, I would watch every week. Every single week.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, though. Campbell's an outlier. I don't think he has a heart for football, period. Yeah. This guy, that man, they play on 2 and whatever, 3 and whatever teams, and they play with heart still. You kidding me? No, that's an outlier. That's just a Devondre Campbell situation. They ain't got nothing to do with the Niners. That's a Campbell situation.
I agree with you on that, but I also go. But you're also telling me though on that, Yusuf, like the team didn't know this was happening before that game pops out. Like you weren't prepared for that guy. I can't imagine that. You're telling me that this guy all of a sudden, and it's coming out that Bosa said that he heard him talking about it before the game even started, but figured that it was just him blowing off steam. I mean, if I'm the 49ers, I'm worried about stuff like that. When Kittle has to come up in interviews and try to explain why he the best player on their offense that's healthy, is not getting the ball, and because he's a supreme positive person, he's not going to throw people under the bus. But he was struggling not to say, I don't know why I'm not getting the ball more.
Yeah. That was a setup question, though.
It was.
That was a mousetrap, and he was the mouse. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, y'all really want to fire the coach? I mean, seriously, across the board, you guys want to fire him? I don't want that. I think he's fine in that spot for now. You want to fire him? Yes.
No.
You want to fire Shanahan?
For me and Shanahan, to me, Shanahan's one of the top 4 coaches in football. And I've said this ad nauseum on other shows. If he hangs around long enough and gets a real quarterback at some point, he wins multiple Super Bowls. But I will say, I noticed even last offseason, he looked a little ragged, run down. He looks like even he himself is not enjoying life too good right now. I don't know if that's just, I don't know what that is, if it's a personal thing off on the side or what. He doesn't look like he's enjoying himself. He's looked even less like it as this season has gone on. So, but you never know. It might get to a point where he's just worn out his welcome in San Francisco and he goes on to a different franchise and does what Andy Reid has done in Kansas City. All right. So I could see that. But no, I'm a big Shanahan guy. I see him doing very well as a coach. But there have been whispers around San Francisco for about a year now, really, that maybe not all is as beautiful as it seems to be on the outside.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you have to replace a defensive coordinator every year. Either your team defense is terrible or your coordinator does so well they offer him a head coaching job. And that's happened to him, 4 seasons in a row where he's had to make that switch. He's also a coach that takes on that offensive coordinator role. I think a lot of that stuff is just weighing on him. You see a lot of these coaches now that they're better in that CEO role where you trust the people underneath you to make those plays. And Ben mentioned Andy Reid, he still calls the offense, but he's got guys below him that he's taking a ton of input on how they're going to run the offense. It's not all on him to make every decision night or day. I think Shanahan takes it on. I think that's exactly what his father did. And I think that's why problems for his father happen. After a couple of seasons, if you're making every single decision on every single thing in the program, I think that becomes difficult. And I think with the injuries now and this year in total, you can see it in Shanahan this year and the last 2 years specifically have worn on him. Plus he's riding that, Buffalo Bills, Marv Levy, how many Super Bowls in a row can we lose when we make it that far?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. Let's explore the scenario right quick. Say you got a brand new job, right? But it's about an hour away. So instead of taking the bus, you got to get a car, right? So you get a car, and that car breaks down within 1 week. Imagine the stress of that, right? I tell your boss, you know what? I'm late because my car broke down, right? So you get another car, and that car breaks down. You get a third car, and that one breaks down. Wouldn't you be stressed too?
I go to another dealership. Somebody else buy my cars.
Running back core flames out all year long, constantly. First C-Mac, then his backup, Jordan Mason. and then Garendo. They all go out with season-end injuries. I'd be stressed out too.
I'd actually,
Let's get that man.
I actually
some
go
room.
back even before then. You lose a Super Bowl that you really had control of for most of 3 quarters, right? That's tough. And we all, I bet you most people say, yeah, they'll probably get back to the Super Bowl. Now you kind of see how tough that is, so that's a thing. Then what was their offseason? The Brandon Ayuk saga for the entire summer. You got to answer questions about that every week. And you're like, we're not going to talk about any of the guys who are actually here. What's up, Win? You're not going to talk about any of the guys that are here. We're going to talk about the people that aren't here. So that weighs on you. Then, like you said, your prize running back hurt to start. And then you kind of go into all that stuff. Like, what's this last positive, to really enjoy this job? So I think it's the whole thing in totality.
All right, let me shout out Carissa. Got your question. We're going to do that during our predictions segment. So we'll jump on your question at that point. Let me guys ask you about Anthony Richardson. Because I'm hearing the comments, and I want to ask you guys, because right now it feels as though, and I think I read a few articles where he is not the unquestioned starter for the Colts going into next year. His last game, 17 of 38, just 72 yards, 2 picks, looks pretty bad. We thought for one game after his benching that he finally got it, but he came back and we realized that he didn't have it. Is Anthony Richardson a bust in your opinion? Yes or no?
I think it's still too early because you're in year 2 and you lost year 1, but you took a project with the 4th pick and the expectations are too much too fast. You're like, hey, we should make the playoffs in year 2, even though you didn't really play in year 1. So I don't see the development for him, but I still think I put more of his bust potential on the organization than I do on him.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think he should have been the starter day 1 last year.
Okay, Shane.
I agree with Herb on that. I think it's an evaluation thing. I think you took a supreme athlete that was not a talented quarterback and played sparingly at Florida. I'm not a full-on Parcells guy, but he used to not draft somebody if they didn't start for at least 3 years, And he would say, that way I knew what I had going. When things went bad, I could see what he did. I could see where that falls in. I don't think he was trained very well at Florida. I think he has the athletic talent to do it. But I think you step in and a Chargers offense where you have weapons around you, he still looks lost at times. Now again, like Herb said, is that on him or did you select him earlier than what you should have?
Okay.
Go
ahead, Ben.
I'm going to cheat off both these guys here because they're speaking what I'm thinking. Anthony Richardson is so talented, but he hasn't had a lot of playing time, even at the NFL level. Back at Florida, like Shane mentioned, it was 9 starts, 13 starts. It was some ridiculous number in his entire Florida career that he started
his last
there.
year there, but not before that, I think.
Yes, and then you get him into the Colts. I didn't mind the Colts drafting him because you have to do something at quarterback, right? You got to try something at some point. But for him to start day 1, I think like Herb said, I just didn't see it. I thought they should have sat him most of the year. But now at this point, I want him to play because you've already kind of blew your chance for him to sit back and relax. I want him.
You burned his red shirt already.
Yes, it's a great way to put it. So I want him out there playing the rest of this year, and then go in the next off season. He's still going to be my main option, but I'll bring in another maybe a lower profile backup to go with him so that if he does collapse halfway through next year, I've still got somebody else to plug in and play a little bit. But he just needs a lot more playing time, and I do blame the Colts coaching staff for not developing something here. We just haven't seen any real development at all on most weeks.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Let's do guys with some rapid fire questions, and then we'll jump into our predictions for TNF tonight and the rest of the week. All right. So, ready? Josh Allen, MVP, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Right now.
You might not like this one, but I'd either have him or Saquon is my top 2.
The man is playing off the chain, man. I'm good with it. Shane, what was your answer? You said right now?
Right now, yeah. He's the hottest player in the NFL right now. I think, like Herb
Are you talking
said,
about looks wise or playing style?
I mean, I think he's doing okay right now in all forms. But I think it's him, Saquon, Lamar Jackson in that order. And I think that if the Bills continue on, I think Josh Allen is an easy choice for them.
Copy that. All right, let's keep moving. All right, Houston Texans, first round exit or they go beyond?
First round exit.
I can see it.
Yeah, one and done.
Copy that.
Yeah.
All right.
I was trying to figure out who they play, but I was like, I just don't have any faith in them right now. So sorry.
I want you to know,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. But I want you guys. Right. Should Mark Davis retain Antonio Pierce as head coach of the Raiders? Yes or no? Y'all be
I
nice
give him
now.
one more year.
Yeah.
It's a
I'd be
lousy
okay.
roster, man. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, other than Crosby, he ain't got a whole lot to work with here. So give him another year.
You saw Desmond Ritter tonight? You saw Desmond Ritter? You saw him?
Yeah. You have like one offensive player and one defensive player, and that's your whole roster.
You can't find nobody but Desmond Ritter.
I say make the change.
So to that one, when you say make the change, I say who would you have brought in like this year that would do better with this roster?
Well, that's my point. I don't think next year is going to help you either. I think that I don't think Pierce is the problem, but I don't think that you giving him another year puts you in any better situation.
Hey man,
Hey, man.
it's not
Do
you,
you have
it's
eggnog
me.
over there?
Look at what
not
the
make any
Raiders
sense.
have done. Look at what the Raiders have done with their coaches. They've made terrible decisions, and then they wait to cut bait, and then you end up having interim guys that perform for half a season and then can't perform when it's their full-time job. Like I said, I don't think the talent is great with Oakland, but I don't think next year Antonio Pierce brings them to 11, 10 wins. That's not going to happen. So are you going to keep him around to try to figure this out and go, well, it's not really his fault? Well, then fire the GM, make a move.
Yeah. Now that
and that's why I'm saying I don't think it's Antonio Pierce. I like what he's done for the Raiders, but you don't have a quarterback. You didn't do anything to help that. I don't think bringing in whoever you're going to as a rookie quarterback is going to elevate your team to a point to where you're going to have a shot. I mean, if you're the Raiders, who are you beating in your division with a new quarterback? No one.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if the Raiders can beat their practice
make?
squad at this point.
Yeah, so you keep him around, and then say you lose, 4 out of your first 6. Then you cut him? Well, what did you do? You just wasted time, or you could have gotten a coach to give them another shot. I mean, I don't think Ben Johnson's taking that job. I don't think some of these other coaches are taking the job, but I don't think waiting around another year with Pierce is going to answer the problems. I don't think it's a question of him. I don't think it's like he's going to figure it out next year.
All righty. Let's keep moving. All right. Sean Payton, coach of the year, yes or no?
Maybe like
No.
top 3, but no.
They were expected to be in last place. They're second in the West. It doesn't count for anything?
I got it, but if you have the division that the Lions and stuff are in, and all 3 of those teams compete, it's hard for me to look past any one of those coaches to jump down to the team just because of expectations. So I'd rather reward somebody else for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a knock on him. This isn't like a bad for him. This is just I would have other people ahead of them.
Copy that. They clinch postseason tonight if they win against the Chargers. Shane, what do you got? Yes or no?
I don't think he wins either. I think, like Herb said, I think you're in a tough boat for any of those teams that are ahead of them. Have they played better this year? But again, that's you made a change at quarterback, and that played out well for you. Peyton is the offensive coordinator and the head coach, so that helps him. But I think the other thing with his personality is going to hurt him in a head coach spot. I don't think that he is the number one fan for writers and things like that to get picked. I think Dan Campbell has more of the media. I think Kevin O'Connell, I think what he's done with the Vikings is more impressive than what the other coaches have, because I think that was a team where if this quarterback thing didn't work out, that team was in some serious trouble, and he has really navigated that team to a winning point.
Copy that. Ben.
So I love what Sean Payton has done this year. I even put a video on it. I really, really love what he has done. I think he's been brilliant. Maybe one of his best coaching jobs ever, even reaching back to the Saints days. I mean, I'm really impressed. If I had a vote, though, I think I'd vote for Mike Tomlin. I mean, watching Tomlin, I was dumb enough to say that the Steelers weren't going to make the playoffs this year. I had them at about 8 wins this year, 7-8 wins. And Mike Tomlin's done nothing. That took Mike Tomlin 6 weeks to prove me wrong on that, right? I mean, so what Tomlin's doing here with this kind of double quarterback thing, and he's dealt with injuries too. And we talked about the limitations at the skill position groups here. I think I'd vote for Tomlin, quite honestly, is where I'd be at on it. And I'd have Sean very close second because I think he's done a tremendous job.
All right, a few more, and then we can go ahead and jump into our predictions. All right, if Mahomes is out, can the Chiefs keep on winning games?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, look. The payments to the refs have not stopped, okay? We've seen the bags being carried through, okay? And we've still got all the voodoo dolls down in the
That's the one right there.
Down in the lower bowels of the stadium somewhere that the maintenance guy is taking care of. So, no, we got this covered, man. I don't care who's playing, who ain't playing. We're good, all right?
Oh, wow. Okay. So, Shane, I'm assuming you agree with Ben, right?
Shane said no. He was already shaking his head.
No, yeah, I think Ben brought it up, but I didn't know if that's what that super fan was robbing those banks for, was to be able to make these payments already to the officials. But no, I think without Mahomes, they're in serious trouble.
Okay, that's a fair point. Bill, best team in the league?
Real quick, I think they're going to figure it out. So I think they could put Andy Reid in at quarterback right now and just somehow figure something. Like they won a game on a botched snap. I mean, there's just something going on with them this year. So where I don't know, you're going to find one of the players' kids is going to quarterback next game and they're going to win something. I don't know. Throwing two-handed like guys. It's something I wouldn't pick against them.
Okay.
Hey, look. That's also why Kelsey is dating Taylor Swift, so we can afford the payment.
There you go. There you go. She just sit up in the booth writing checks.
This is I don't want to do that. I never want to do that. All right. So Bill's best team in the league, yes or no?
As of now, yes. For me.
As of now. Herb?
I don't know. Can I abstain? Because I was like, I want to pick Detroit, and then they just beat them, so that just makes my point terrible. So why not?
No, I'll come back. You sure?
Yeah. Until next week.
Fair enough.
I think right now Philly actually is.
Ugh. Really?
You can't say Philly on this show because it gets bad. That's why I always skip them.
No, I mean, you don't have to. It just sounds gross. I don't even. Well, you guys probably think that Hurts doing great, right? You can go around the room.
See, I knew it. I knew it. We would find some way to insult the Eagles somehow. We watched Saquon Barkley jump backwards over a man, and the first thing we did was complain about the Giants. I was like, "Oh God, I don't bring up Philly on this stuff on this show."
Barkley is in the MVP conversation. No question about that. I'm asking about Hurts. You guys like how he's playing?
You go try and find a way to shoot down Philly.
I won't. I'm not going to do it.
You are. You think oh crap, they talking too good about Philly. Let me break it down.
I'm not the best. They're the second best team, though. They're the second best team in the league.
Who, Philly?
I give them that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's thing I've heard. It is.
I don't think Buffalo defensively is good enough to be the top team. Like I said, I take Josh Allen against anyone right now. But if you're asking me who the best team is, Philadelphia is the best team.
Are we using records to determine anything, or are we just bypassing that part?
No, record. I'm bypassing records here.
I'll wait for the playoffs. I'll stand behind Philly. I'm not scared.
Okay. Here's the last rapid fire question that we had. All right. I'm going to give you guys 5 quarterbacks, okay? What I want you to tell me is who do you like going forward? That means all the measurables, potential and team situation, everything, right? So this is going to be, might take a little bit of thought, take a breath. Don't give me a quick answer. You're going to get blasted if you do that. So take your time and think about it. All right. Here are the 5 guys. Anthony Richardson, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, Bryce Young, and Caleb Williams. I'll repeat them again. A-Rich, Stroud, Levis, Bryce Young, and Caleb Williams.
One of these
who do you like
does not belong here.
Well, one of these guys is about to be done. So Will Levis is eliminated from this conversation.
Really? He got size and all stuff. He makes a lot of mistakes. That can be cool.
I mean, they'll get him to play another quarterback in the movie of their life. I guess that's what he'll get to do. But otherwise, no. I think you gotta go. I feel like you got to go C.J. Stroud with this list.
Ooh, you should. After all we said about the Texans, you sure you like him?
What did I say about the Texans?
A whole bunch of stuff, remember?
What? You like that means you weren't listening to anything I said. but look at your list though. Bears eliminated, Panthers eliminated, Will Levis eliminated. So it's basically C.J. Stroud or Anthony Richardson. That's how I.
So let me ask you this: do you feel like the Bears have the most talent in this list offensively?
Not when the Texans are healthy.
Right.
Okay.
They don't have bad talent, but it's like they're the Bears. Caleb Williams' body language is looking terrible lately. Something else is just going on there. So that's why I can't give that to him.
Where's Coach says Stroud as well, so she agrees with her. I like it. All right. What you got, Shane?
I'm with Herb. I say Stroud and Williams
That's surprising.
Are above the pack.
Right.
I also agree that Mayonnaise Will Levis is at the bottom.
Mayonnaise. He didn't let it down at all. It's never going to happen for him. Wow. Mayonnaise Will Levis. Wow.
And I think Bryce Young has impressed in the last couple of games with what he's come back from.
He certainly has.
And like I said, I was never a big Richardson. I think he's a great athlete. I just don't think he's a great quarterback. And you can get away with that in college. You can't get away with it in the NFL.
Right.
Does he convert or does he stay at quarterback for the rest of his career?
Stays at quarterback.
Stays at quarterback.
Sorry for your luck. All right. Ben.
For me, it's C.J. Stroud. It's amazing that Stroud had to actually kind of come down and have a bad season, and a couple of these guys came up, and they're still not at Stroud's level. I mean, so, next year if Stroud kind of puts it back together again, the sky's the limit for him. Some of these other guys are already hitting, hard limits, to be honest. So it's Stroud for me.
Plus, you also mentioned team situation. He's probably in one of the best team situations as far as talent around him too, as well. Look at his division; it's falling apart. Yep, like everything else factors into that as well. And also, it's kind of like Shay was talking about. You ding all these other people points for that kind of stuff. I had Caleb Williams second just because of the rookie, and they did put a lot of talent around him. I did do Bryce Young third, but it's the Panthers. They were jettisoning people, in the middle of the year off a team that didn't. Like, who's their best receiver? Adam Thielen? They've got their second best wide receiver might be Leggett, and he can't catch. So you're just not in a good position there for him to succeed. So,
I had the same thing. I'm just busting you guys' chops, man. But the fourth and the fifth one, I don't know what to do with that. I had Stroud and Williams, and I had Young, but after that, I don't know who's fourth and fifth. I don't know. Maybe Levis, Richardson. I don't know.
Yeah.
I need some time.
I think it goes Richardson, Levis, because I think Levis is about to be out of a job. But I think they're going to. They have more capital invested in Richardson, so they're going to see to the bitter end if this works or not. So.
Well, and Levis has had more turnovers where you just shake your head that you can't even believe it happened that way.
Yeah.
And at some point, what do you do? The other thing, that's tough in Tennessee. They've made the wrong decision on the quarterback time and time again, and that's one of those ones where you can't make that mistake.
Yep, agreed.
I don't want them in the quarterback market right now. Y'all go ahead and try to coach that man up. Give him another year. Y'all stay out of the quarterback. I don't want them involved in this at all.
They're gonna go make a
Leave
run
the
at
Jets-
Cousins when he becomes trade
leave the
bait.
Titans out.
Yeah, there you
Leave
go.
the Steelers out. Leave the draft alone. Y'all good. Pick something else other than quarterback. Try it next year. We need no competition. We need to get something out of this draft. It's a whole nother story, though. Good stuff, guys. All right, let's jump into our predictions. Carissa Johnson, aka KJ, had a question about the TNF game tonight. We'll answer her question around the board, and then we'll jump into our predictions and do what could be the best 5-pack poll we ever had on this show. So we'll see if it holds up. We like what we see so far. But Krista asked, what are your opinions on the Denver Broncos and the Los Angeles Chargers? All right. Pretty general question there. What are your opinions on the game tonight, I guess, perhaps? What are you guys' thoughts on the game tonight? Just a couple of things here. The Chargers have lost 2 straight games by a wide margin. They haven't looked great. The Broncos are steaming hot. They had one game, I think it was the week that we were out, where Bo Nix was making some mayonnaise liver type of mistakes. I don't remember if they won the game or not. I think they still won the game anyway, but pretty rough. So the Broncos are kind of coming in hot in this game, and the Chargers are super desperate. They got to get a win to stay afloat. If they don't, the Broncos will have a postseason berth, and I think they're locked down second in the division. What are you guys' thoughts on this game and these two teams?
Let me go ahead and jump in with some good old-fashioned fence straddling first, okay? And then I'll actually make a pick. If that's all right, okay? So if the Chargers can get – I don't think they're going to have Dobbins. McConkey's going to be a game-time decision, last we heard. If they got McConkey and if Harbaugh stays aggressive and allows Herbert to kind of throw the football around the field, and it's a higher-scoring game, I like the Chargers. Nix is good for some interceptions we've seen when they try to open the game up. Nix is good for picks, and I think he'll throw picks against this defense, okay? Now, if Sean Payton reins Bo Nix back in like they were doing 4 or 5 weeks ago, going with just a lot of conservative stuff, trying not to make mistakes, let this defense kind of do its thing, run the football pretty well, because you can run the football against the Chargers defense. Teams have been doing it all year and for the last 3 or 4 years. If that's what happens, then I kind of favor the Broncos here in this game because the Chargers are still banged up. So we'll see what happens. Ultimately, though, I think I like the Chargers here. They just seem like they're a little bit more mature ultimately across the board, and they're at home. So in a tight one, I'll pick the Chargers after all my fence straddling.
And they're at -3. Shane.
So instead of going straddling the fence like Ben did, I have been on the Chargers bandwagon throughout the year, but I believe that there is at least one wheel broken off of this wagon. And I think Denver sees an opportunity to lock up a playoff berth. I think for them, playing in a dome helps them out even more. And I think they beat the Chargers. I think it's going to be tight, but I think, like Ben mentioned, Peyton is going to dial it down. Probably a lot of screens in this game. Get the ball moving, get Nix ready to go, and then I think they'll let the defense take over. I think the Chargers are hurting right now, and I think Denver pulls it out tonight.
All right, Herbo.
Yeah, one that I don't feel like really great about, but I have Denver winning this game, just playing a little bit better and a little bit more motivation at this time. But as somebody who doesn't have a rooting interest, I just want to see a good game. I do not want to see a blowout. I hope the line is indicative of the actual game, and I hope I'm still watching in the fourth quarter.
Same here. I'll turn into an old mystery in a minute. Don't try me. This game better be entertaining. We want to talk about a sitcom in a minute. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if McConkey is healthy. We were still hurt from last week, but I have no idea what his situation is. I can check, but right now, even though the Chargers are getting -3, I'm just kind of like, I think the Broncos are going to win here. I don't know, man. Oh, Lord. They got all these alumni from the Chargers out here rooting for the team and pumping the fans up. Now I know they're going to lose. I'm going Broncos on this one myself. So let's go ahead and jump back around because we got some games on. The lineup is all messed up the way they had it. Okay, so I think Saturday we got 2 games on Saturday. Is that right?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Texans at Chiefs. Who you got? I don't know if Mahomes is playing for the record. I can check, but I have no idea if he's going to be.
I thought they said he was. I thought he was going to give it a go.
Okay. How you feeling?
I think I'll take the Chiefs because the Texans are up and down and they play terrible on the road, it feels like, this year.
Chiefs for me.
All right.
Payments to the refs have been made. Chiefs.
He doesn't have an injury designation. You know what that tells me? His ankle's still bothering him. He's going to play anyway.
Oh, it definitely is.
Right.
It definitely is. He's not 100%. But
no way. I'm going to here too. They're giving Texans the line, but I don't know. I don't feel good about it. All right, Steelers at Ravens. Who you got, Ben? Steelers at Ravens.
Lamar has a big day. You can't get to that secondary, and the Steelers offense struggling. So give Lamar in Baltimore.
Shane.
I think before Herb talks, this is a classic Herb statement. The Ravens are on the watch to Raven because this is one of those games where they forget that they have one of the better backs in the league and they try to get cute and they don't play well. But I don't think Pittsburgh can pull it out, so I have the Ravens.
Yeah, this is almost guaranteed to be a low-scoring game. If it's not, I'll be totally shocked.
it wasn't in the first one, though, wasn't it? Didn't they put up some points in the first matchup, I believe?
Well,
I'm going Steelers mostly because the other two guys picked the Ravens. But I have no idea. It's like you said, I don't believe in the Ravens coaching staff at times. I don't believe in Pittsburgh's offense. I don't know. This game could be 10-7 or like 30-27.
So who you taking?
I'll take Pittsburgh.
Okay. Yeah. I agree with Herb. I think I'm gonna go with the Steelers. In these kind of games, you feel like the Ravens, they just forget about what this is all about. And if you get to run the ball, it amazes me. Without an offense, I think the Steelers might still win this game. But I'm going with the Steelers here. I can change my mind, but they're the underdogs in this case, but that's okay. I'm sticking with this. I think when the Steelers are underdogs, they win.
Yeah.
I think the stat was 66% of their games. I like that number. I'm going with the Steelers. Browns at Bengals. How you feeling, Ben? You're a big Browns fan, so how you feel?
Yeah, unfortunately, giving the Bengals by a lot. Joe Burrow's playing really well. This offense is going to load up. Winston's going to throw for a lot of yards and a bunch of picks. You know?
He's not starting, though, but I do agree with the rest.
Okay, well, yeah. I mean, he's still going to throw for a few picks anyway, even if he starts.
I can see it.
That's how much he's playing.
I can see it. I made that joke last week, so that's why I'm with you on that. I said he was going to throw for more touchdowns than Mahomes because there'd be a number of pick sixes in there. Yeah. So that's what. So I'm definitely with you. I could see him on the bench throwing to the wrong person. So.
Wow. Okay.
And that's Bengals for me too, by the way.
Oh, it is okay. Shane, Bengals too.
Bengals.
Raising up with me again, buddy. All right, Giants at Falcons. We can go ahead and bypass that 10-point Falcons favorites. We can go ahead and move on. Everybody wants to stop.
Boy, right? Penix out there starting, right?
Yep.
Yay! All right. All right. So, Pat at Bill. Do we need to have a conference about this?
No.
I'm just going to Shane because he's the only one that's going to say who might say Pat's going to win. Bill's going to win this game, or the Pats?
Bills are winning. Yeah, I mean, I'm a Patriots fan, but I'm not I'm still a realist.
He said, I actually watched the games.
Yeah, I have seen and played football before, so I will still pick the team and score the game.
You might think Big May practicing and say, ooh, his arm is electric. I don't know. Okay, all right. So, Cardinals at Panthers. Toughie, but Ben, what do you got? I'm really not sure.
This one is tough right here, but give me the Panthers by a hair.
I love it.
They're just playing tough, man, and I like that. And the Cardinals are up and down, so give me the Panthers here.
Feeling looks good, man. Say what you want to. He looked good. What, he had like 103 for 10 catches, 103 yards at a touchdown? Shane.
I go Cardinals in a shootout.
Isn't that amazing? The team you hate the most. That's something. Hurt.
I'm going to go Cardinals just because I feel like the Panthers are going to play really well. I agree with the shootout part, but they're going to find a way to keep their high draft pick. So someone will do something stupid, another fumble, an interception. Something will happen at the end that you'll just go, oh. So, yeah, I'm picking the Cardinals.
I'm going to go with the underdogs. I'm going with the Panthers here.
I like it.
And those 4 points. I'm going with the Panthers. I think they're gonna do work back there. Lions at Bears. We need to have a conference on it. So are we good with the Lions as a consensus to win this game?
Yes.
Taylor might be crying before the end of the game is over. Crying in his mom. Let's move on. All right.
Poor Caleb.
Titans at Colts.
Yeah.
I have no idea. What do you have? I have no idea.
Yeah, I'll take.
This is not easy.
They're still playing better. Tennessee just doesn't play well. Even in some of the close games, they don't play well. So give me the Colts here. Even though Richardson struggled, but give me the Colts. They're just a better team.
They got the Titans favored by a good bit. I'm trying to figure out why. Go ahead,
Titans
Shane.
are favored?
Yeah. I think it's 4.5. I'm trying to figure out why.
Is that because Randolph is starting?
Because Richardson is starting. Okay.
No, I see the
no
Colts
idea.
-3.5 right now on CBS.
That line must have changed. It wasn't that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm taking the Colts as well. This will be that game that Richardson plays great, and we're like, oh, this is why they drafted him, and the next week he'll play terrible again.
All right. So you said Colts. And Shane, you got Colts too?
Colts.
Yeah, I like Colts as well. Rams at Jets. So we good with the fact that Rodgers not gonna make an epic comeback and win the game. They're gonna get blown out, right? Are we agreed?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not sure anybody even cares about this game outside of Rams fans, but yeah,
Basically.
yeah.
Good call.
It's gonna be a nightmare for the Jets defense. So they ain't gonna wake up from this one. All right. So Rams, Eagles at Commanders. Ben.
I got the Eagles. I just want the Commanders to play hard, at least punch the bully, right? But I don't see them
Do the
putting
best
down
you
the
can.
bully here. Yeah.
Do your best. Do your darndest. All right, Shane. What do you got there?
I stood behind the Eagles. I think they pull it out in this one, but I do think it's going to be a good game. The Commanders have turned it around to where you can't just walk in and think that you're going to roll them up anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going Eagles as well.
Yeah, I'm going Eagles too. I just don't know if the game's going to be close. Like, I'm not really able to say that. Okay, we'll see. Vikings at Seahawks. I guess it should be on paper a good game, but Ben, you got Vikings?
I like the Vikings. I think it's a great matchup for Minnesota. The one thing that gives me pause is that the Seattle defense is playing better the past 3-4 weeks. So if they can start to lock it down a little bit, then that does change everything. But ultimately, no, I just like this matchup for Minnesota.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have the Vikings.
All right, well, Vikings across the board. All right. Here's the big one. This should be the marquee game of the week. Jags at Raiders.
Oof.
I don't,
Money game,
Ben,
man.
I don't know. I'm going to cheat off you guys. I'm just telling you that right now because I have no idea what to pick. I'm cheating off you guys. Just want you to know in advance. So who you got? Jags or Raiders? Hurry up, let's go.
I didn't spend a lot of time studying this game, man. I think the Raiders.
Nobody did. Nobody did. The NFL is still shocked that it's on the schedule. Like, what?
Yeah. Is this one of the college football playoff games? We should have had this game on Saturday. What are we doing here?
Oh man,
I'm taking Jags.
Jaguars.
Yeah.
Mm.
And if this game is on in your market, I just feel bad for you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be watching that. Shane.
Jags.
Well, because of where they are in the draft, this is likely a game of attrition. So I'm hoping that that the Raiders actually do win this game. So I'm picking the Raiders to win. And you didn't say they are in the draft.
I like it.
So
I like it.
This is
Help the Giants.
all self-serving. This is all self-serving. All right. Niners at Dolphins. Honestly, I don't know where to go with this one either. Ben, what do you got?
Close one, but give me the Dolphins. Dolphins at home. if you collect all the past 3-4 weeks together, Dolphins are playing better. So give me the Dolphins.
The 1.5 number says a lot about where these two teams are, you know? King.
Yep.
Niners. I think they need it more.
Where are they going to get it from? I know they need it more. Where's it going to come from?
I think defensively. I don't think Tua has a good game at all.
Woo, brother. I like to see that game.
Yep. I'm going Miami as well.
You are. Oh boy. I guess this is one time where I'm just this is group speak. I'm just doing what you guys are doing because I have no idea. I don't think Garindo's coming back, so I don't know who they're gonna have running back. There's gonna be
I think they just knocked Garindo out. I saw the alert come across earlier, so he's done.
That would be a effectual wrap. I'm going Dolphins there. Buccaneers at Cowboys. Anybody have the Cowboys winning this game? Ben shaking his head.
Ultimately, no.
Dude.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Cowboys defense is playing better. Nobody's
They
quit
are.
there, but yeah, I mean, Baker Mayfield's playing too good here. So give me the fight in Baker Mayfield's.
Yeah, they're gonna lose. So I got the Bucks too. Shane, you got Bucks too.
Bucks.
I'm taking Tampa. I love the fact that Dallas couldn't win right when it was time, and then they can't lose right when they're tanking. So they don't know what's going on over there. But I'm taking Tampa Bay in this game.
Their record is 1-6 at home. I don't trust them. Sorry. And the Bucks have won 4 straight, and they're 5-2 on the road. Yeah, they're not losing this game. All right, Saints at Packers is our last game on the matchup. Ben, what do you got? Saints or Packers?
Packers are a very good football team. They're at home. They're going to win this game.
I said 13.5. My God. One of the biggest lines. Yeah, that's one of the second biggest line in this whole matchup. Shane.
I will go Packers, and to reverse it from how Ben put it, the Saints are a really bad football team. So they are going to lose.
And Kamara is not going to be playing in the game. He just went out a couple of hours ago. So he's done.
Oh.
Yeah, I think his pride was hurt or something, right?
His extremity was also hurt as well. Hey, hurt. Yeah.
I agree with both of these smart gentlemen for both of their reasons. I am picking against the Saints for sure.
No point in prolonging that, right?
Yes.
State's going to get demolished. 13.5. My gosh.
But you would not
So
want
go
to
ahead, Herb. Don't you do it. All right. So practice on Monday night is a problem. I'm gonna find something to do with my time on Monday night because I don't think I have time for that. I want to see somebody get beat, but abuse on tape. Go ahead, Herb, and run down the new 5-pack poll we busting out this week. I think we're all excited about it, man. Show us how the game is played, brother.
Okay. And I came with this one. Probably needs a little bit of tweaking still, but we're gonna roll with it. We're going off teams. We're going quarterbacks this time. Your positions are win the Super Bowl in 3 years, MVP in 3 years. I tried to give you guys a little bit of cushion so you don't have to say this is what's going to happen exactly this year. Get traded within 3 years, benched within 3 years, and out of the league, the harsh one, in the next 3 years. And try to give you a good mix here. You're going Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts, and Love from Green Bay, from the Packers. I don't know why I'm blanking out on everything. So who's venturing to go first on this one?
It's probably gonna be me.
And Jordan Love. I love Michael Jordan. I don't know why that's skipping my head.
I'll go first on this.
Oh, Shane. Okay, good.
So, at first when Herb came up with this one, I figured, let's go and take a look at everybody's age. Maybe that will give me like a shot. And then I saw, Goff is the oldest, but he's only 30. So it didn't give me the he'll be the one that's out of the league because he's just going to age out. So I thought this one was a tough one, but I think kind of what we've talked about this week really shows on my list. So for the Super Bowl, I put Josh Allen.
Yep.
I think their window is right now. Could it be this year where you get to a Super Bowl, or could it be in the next couple? I think he has a chance. I think the lock for an MVP in the next couple is Lamar Jackson. He already has a few. He's playing at that level again. and his talent is still, in that upper level. The one for me, the bench, that's Jalen Hurts.
Oof.
I think he has the opportunity to where he could be one that gets sat. The reason why I said that is I put Jared Goff as the one that will be out of the league. Again, just being the older one. And the reason why I left Jordan Love is because he is a Packers quarterback who has done well, which means that he will be traded within the next couple of years.
Good point.
Fair.
I like that. I didn't think about that.
Wow. Ben, you ready?
That might be the best thing I've heard tonight, Shane. I did not connect that, but you're right. A good quarterback.
Statistically, if you do well as a Packers quarterback, you will be on the block.
That's so terrible.
That's funny. I like it. What you got, Ben?
I was so close to making an identical list to what Shane has, but I switched two names here. So first of all, Jared Goff. I'm gonna have him just retiring in 3 years because he wins a Super Bowl and he feels a lot older, doesn't he? I mean, he feels like he's been in the league for 15, 16 years, man.
It does. When you said 30, I was like, he lied. You just lied to me.
Yeah. I know, I've been here forever, but he's kind of had 2 or 3 different careers almost. But I'll age out Jared Goff. How about that? Lamar Jackson's the MVP. You could even have said this guy might win the MVP all of the next 3 seasons, and I'd still put in Lamar. I mean, he's got that. The voters won't let him do that. But he's got that potential for MVP. Josh Allen is the Super Bowl winner, but you might take care of that this year. I went ahead and put Hurts on the trading block because Hurts ain't playing well. And Philadelphia, too, doesn't mind moving off their quarterbacks rather quickly. So, sometime in the next 3 years, you can see that. Jordan Love was the tough one here because, obviously a good 5-pack poll is going to put somebody here in the lurch. Jordan Love's the one who gets caught here. So I'm benching Jordan Love. The Packers seem to like Jordan Love, but he also has this ability to get injured, unfortunately, and it makes dumb decisions. So between those 2 things, I could see him over the next 3 years at some point getting benched, even though at times he plays really well.
Agreed.
Okay. That was all of them?
That was all.
You didn't do yours?
I missed it. Okay. No. I mean all of Ben.
Oh, all the people. Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
no.
yes, he did. Sorry, yes.
Let me do mine before you do yours, Herb?
Yes, because I'm basing mine off of what you guys do. I'm doing something different than everybody else. So
do that, baby.
yeah, you go see some creativity. Well, I didn't want to repeat anybody else's list, so you go see some, some craziness.
I think mine might be different than anybody else's. I think perhaps I got Josh Allen winning the Super Bowl in 3 years. I think that's doable. The defense concerns me. We talked about it earlier in the show. Lamar Jackson is my MVP. That's low hanging fruit. He's been doing it for how many years now? At least being in the running. Not really a big leap there. Now his really gets tough. All right. So for me, I have Jordan Love being traded. And not for the reason that Shane said, but because I believe that he's the kind out of this list, he's the quarterback in this list that if a young upstart comes in and has any level of flash, that they forget, the whole pack of faithful forget all about Jordan Love. I just really believe that. I don't think he's as cemented in the fabric of Green Bay as he would like to be. I don't feel like he's in like Favre was in, so to speak, for example. So I feel like he's the kind of guy that in this list that would be traded pretty easily. I got Jalen Hurts being the guy out of the league in 3 years. I feel like his potential to get tough injuries is still there. The line's been playing better, but when he does anything, almost he has an ankle or shoulder. It's like he's just a preponderance of injuries. I feel like he's the one that, before you know it, he would be injured so much that there's no point in him coming back to. It's best for him just to retire. That's what I think is going to happen at some point in time. So that leaves Jared Goff being benched. He kind of just a look at the draw with that one. Nothing he's doing per se. Except I saw it in Los Angeles. He was in that same spot where his play was just so rough that he got sacked. So I feel like with the makeup of Detroit, it's not hard for it to happen again. It could definitely happen again. So that's where I went. And last but not least, Curb's going to bring us home
All
with
right.
his
craziness is what we're going with here. All right, we're going to give golf the Super Bowl. All right, just because we root for Detroit here and hope they pull it out. We're going to go Jordan Love with MVP, mostly because I forgot his first name there for a minute with a brain fart, so I'm going to show him a little love. Anyway, and let him have that one. So that's where it gets fun. Jalen Hurts is getting traded. Him and A.J. Brown have one too many fights. They just say they got to pick one. They go with Brown and Devontae Smith to lead the team. They get rid of Hurts. Lamar Jackson's getting benched as the team hears all the cries for they need to run the ball more, so they just bench him, and they just let Derrick Henry carry the ball 30 times a game every game. And Josh Allen loses in the playoffs to the Chiefs for the next 3 years and says, I'm done with this. I hate the cold weather in Buffalo. I'm retiring. I quit. I can't do it anymore. He's out of the league in 3 years.
Oh, man.
There you go.
I'm going to blame it all on Kenny Seinfeld. That's what I'm gonna do.
And that's why I went last.
But that's a fantastic 5-pack poll, man. This is we got to keep this going. This is fun. We're waiting to see Shane and Ben's 5-pack poll because that's a high bar to overcome. But on the show tonight, guys, we went a little longer, so thank you for you all the listeners and watchers that are hanging with us a little bit. We're going to be gone for the Christmas break. I've never done that on this show. I would every single holiday. I'm over that. So we're going to take a Christmas break, spend time with our families. We'll be back the day after New Year's Day, January the 2nd at our regular time at 7 o'clock that Thursday. Any closing thoughts for the people, man, as we close the year out? Go around the board, give us a shout out, share about your show, however you guys want to do it.
I got to run, so let me just say this real quick. Man, I appreciate you guys, man. I've had a lot of fun on here. I wish you guys all best holidays, man. Have fun out there. Do whatever. Ben, share some cookies to some people. You know, it'd be nice. But, you know, Shane, just met you on the show, man. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it the whole year, man, too, as well. I miss you. Thank you for the opportunity. Man. So, love you guys, man. Y'all have a great night. And I've enjoyed it, man. I've enjoyed it.
Have a good one, man. Thanks, brother. All right, Shane, what you got, man?
Really just going right off of Herb's coattails. Really enjoyed being around with everybody. Hope a happy holidays for everyone on the show as well as the listeners. And I'm going to try my best to come up with a 5-pack poll that could even, touch Herb's last
It's
two.
going to be home.
Impressive to say the least.
Home. Yeah. And don't forget now, we can do a college 5-pack poll too now. It's not off the table. I don't know if that helps, but we got that. It's available. Ben, what do you got, man?
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Youssef, for letting me hop on this show. Every once in a while, I get to do it. Love doing it. Really enjoyed it. Enjoyed the football game tonight, and enjoy the holidays, everyone. Hope whatever you celebrate, however you do it, enjoy it, and have a good time.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays to all of you guys. We love you guys for supporting this show for all of these years, and we're excited about what comes up next for 2025. Enjoy the football and enjoy all the sports you like. We'll talk about them on the breaks. We're going to just have fun with it. But thanks for supporting us and continue to keep doing so. We really appreciate it. We are out of here. Have a great Merry Christmas and a happy holiday, and we catch you in the new year. Happy 2025, baby.